Happy Hump Day, baby. It is October 29th, 2025. Oh, 2 days until Halloween. So spooky. Feels like Halloween weather. Anybody in the Midwest, you know what it's like. Usually rains on Halloween if you're from the Midwest. You know how it is. It gets cold, nasty. But who cares? We were talking last night about trick-or-treating and how when we were children, when we were kids, well, some of us are still children, still a child, multiple children, depends on the personality. So you've got, when we used to go out, oh, the sun, oh, look at that, nice, love it, shining on my face, dark to light. So you'd go out and with all your friends and man, you'd be out all night as long as you could possibly go. And even when the lights go out on the porches, you know, you'd go until the last light turned out and get as much candy as you possibly can. And now, and I've seen it, you know, having two daughters, it's like you go out for an hour and they're done. Oh, it's cold out. Oh, it's rainy out. Who cares? I mean, back in the day, it used to be you'd stay out as long as you could and collect as much candy as you possibly could. Man, I don't understand it. I do understand it because everybody wants to get back to their phone. They want to get back to the social media because that's how everyone communicates right now. I have to turn this down. That's how everybody communicates right now. And rather than be some old stodgy, crusty old guy that's, back in my day, that's the way it used to be. You know, we'd get together and we'd have, you know, we'd meet and we'd hang out all night. I get that. Times change, and every generation goes through this to where we think that the younger generation just doesn't get it. Yet here we are. We made it. We used to be that younger generation that our parents looked at us and said, oh my gosh, they're not going to make it. This is the future of our society. There's no way. We're doomed. We all think that. I think we really do. But times are changing. They definitely are. We had that discussion last night about how communication, or I should say how technology is a tool and how it can be used for good purposes, bad purposes, any purpose, you know, like any other tool. And it's how you choose to use it. My life would be 100%, or I should say 180 different if I didn't have this phone. You know, and I see the dangers of the phone, and would I throw that phone away if given the opportunity? Yeah, I probably would. But then I have to think, well, would you really want to do that? Because that technology, that phone, that tablet, that connectivity has brought so many people into your life. I just like repeat it, like Max Headroom. So you can't really throw it out when there are benefits to it. So see the benefits to it. Speaking of seeing, Franny, I am back here. You know, you think the phone's a distraction. Try riding with this little thing. But you when you have a tool, you know, it's yours to use, and it depends how you use it. Again, a hammer can be very destructive, or it can be very constructive. Depends how you use it. And so the tool of technology is a beautiful thing. And I guess being an Aquarian, you know, I can appreciate that, even though I'm kind of pretty conservative when it comes to a lot of things. But I'm pretty liberal on a lot of other things. But I mean, you know, quit boxing yourself in, I guess, is what it comes down to, and just be yourself and express who you are and be your authentic self. So, you know, don't pigeonhole me. Don't put baby in a corner. Don't put Westwood in a corner. Deserve a dunce cap if I go in the corner. So yeah, technology is an important thing. It's an important tool, and I have to say, no, Franny, don't jump out. I would have to say that, okay, let's get this up. I don't have power windows in this car, so technology, it's all manpower. The tool of technology has definitely changed my life. It's changed all of our lives, and if you think back through, I remember the first microwave we got. It was expensive. It was a big machine, you know, this thing was huge. I'm like, what is this thing? I don't even know how old I was. I know where I was living. But Dad brought it home, and I'm like, what the frick? And it had a dial on it with the orange, you know, the timer. where you do the setting like the old school TVs where you have to turn the channel, you know, and get in between just to get it just right. You know, sometimes the frequency there, you know, the channel. But yeah, and then it would go ding, you know, just like a manual timer, like a convection oven, you know, the little oven to like countertop convection oven, or toaster oven, I guess it would be, old school. And you'd turn it and it just ding. And I remember that. I remember the first VCR. It was metal, you know, solid and heavy, and it would pop up. It had like a bracket, you know, hinged arm, you know, like a Z. And it would pop up, and you'd put the tape in, and you'd click it down. If you didn't click it down all the way, it'd pop back up. You had to make sure you pushed it down, and it would rewind it. And I think it was beta at the time because it only had like the one reel showing instead of the two reels like VHS. And yeah, and that was very expensive at that point. It's going to get very expensive again because you can't find those things anymore. They're not mass produced. And that'd be one thing to get your hands on if you want to maintain a sense of history that doesn't change, because everything digital can change. Those VHS players, those DVD players even, a beta player, good luck with that. That's probably a real find if you find any of those. So if anybody finds those, send them to Westwood or bring them to Westwood. That'd be even better. Oh my. Poor dog. Come on, Franny. Wow. Things I go through. Self-inflicted trauma. Typically it is self-inflicted. You got to ask yourself, that was another conversation last night, you have to ask yourself, why do I experience all this trauma in my life? Or why do I continue to go through these things? And then I ask myself, I take a hard look and I say, well, what are you doing to allow that to happen to you? And what can you do to change that? Because a lot of times we bring it in, and the decisions we make, and we're good intentioned, absolutely good intention, but it's sometimes other people aren't so good intentioned. We tend to look at the world as we view it and think that, hey, everybody else sees it this way, correct? Well, not necessarily, and usually not the case. And so it's a rare find when you can find people who see things the same way you do, and you can express your feelings and emotions and be able to have a conversation. And so that's why you get addicted to spaces, and you're up until, 1:30 in the morning on a Tuesday night, or a Wednesday morning, I guess. Because you do have that good conversation, and through technology, it's allowed that to happen. And so you can't negate the fact that, yeah, things are changing. Yeah, we can go total AI and surveillance. Yeah, it can be a very dark existence, Black Mirror type existence, 1984 scenario. Cameras everywhere listening to you, that kind of thing. But the other side of it is we can use that tool also. And it reminds me of the Darth Vader Princess Leia thing. She says, doing the harder you squeeze, the more we squeeze or slip through your fingers, I think it is. And that's what it is. It's kind of this they've unleashed this technology that they can use to bring in a total control state. But on the other side of it, that's technology that we can also use. Blockchain the same way. Okay, well, Bitcoin's hijacked. The NSA invented the algorithm. However, it is open source code, and you just create something else. And that's what happened with Litecoin. You look at that code, you create something else, you tweak it, you make it faster, more efficient, cheaper to use, improve some things, and then you launch a new blockchain. So there's nothing stopping the innovation once the genie's out of the bottle. I'd say Pandora's box, but that's not exactly the best analogy, because that released a lot of bad things. Everything really. But yeah, the genie's out of the bottle. Look out. Be careful what you wish for. But those tools can be used either way. And so this technology to me has definitely improved my life. It's definitely changed my life, and for the better. Because I've met people I would never have met all over the country, even the world. Never would have met them, and never would have had the opportunity in this life to have come into contact with those people who have made me a better person, made me look at myself in different ways, and being able to express myself and have conversations. It's really a beautiful thing. And so embrace the good out of things, and don't just look at the bad, because it's easy to look at the negative. Very easy to look at the negative side of things. It's everything on the news is for shock value in a lot of ways. And I don't know if those are chemtrails yet or not. It looks like they are. They're starting to form. Here we go. Crisscross will make you jump, jump. Yeah, look at, they're crisscrossing. Just when you thought things were getting better. No, but it's a beautiful day. It's cold out. It's got those cold clouds, and it's a cool day. It's going to get up to about 58 today, I think, but it was in the low 40s this morning. So a little chilly. So I've got my sweatshirt on again, my Litecoin sweatshirt. Repping the Litecoin, pay with Litecoin, baby. Love Litecoin. I've always resonated with it, and I don't know why. I do know why, but I don't know why. I'm just attracted to certain things. And I think that's me, my spirit, my soul, just knowing, and I can't define it all the time. But you just know. And so use your gut, use your instinct, use your intuition, whatever you want to call it. The voice of God, your conscience, what's inside of you, all those things. It's hard to put words to, but it's all the same source, same thing. But trust that instinct, trust that gut. If something doesn't feel right, probably isn't right. And the further you go down that path, probably not going to work out. Your initial instincts are usually pretty good. I know mine are. I usually know when I meet somebody. I know one way or the other. But I trust my intuition. I trust my, what's in me talking to me. And that's really what it is. It's, you got that innate, you're born with it. I mean, you're born pure and innocent. I mean, come on, and so we've tuned out of that. We just got to tune back into it. It's just that simple. It's not that hard. We just have to do it and make that effort and listen, get quiet, pay attention. And all the answers come to you. The signs will appear. Somebody said, well, how do I know if I'm on the right path? Somebody made a comment in my video yesterday, and it's like the signs will be there. I mean, things will validate. Synchronicities will happen. Things that probably never would have happened start happening. And you say, oh, wow, that's a fortunate accident. There are no accidents. I know this. There are no accidents. And so I follow them and I embrace them. And, it takes you where you're supposed to be, and things happen quickly. It's just like, pops right up in your face. There it is, and you just know. So, real quick about Litecoin. Yesterday, Litecoin had an ETF launch. Apparently, Canary Capital, and it's a ticker on NASDAQ. It's LTCC, and you can invest in Litecoin. I don't know, and I'm pretty sure they physically custody it. I'm not physically custody it. Yeah, those are definitely chemtrails. Holy cow. Yeah, they just expand so quickly. The next thing you know, they form into these spider webby clouds, these artificial clouds, and it's just, here's all the puffy clouds, and then here's the long trail. I mean, it's expanding quickly, too. Wow. What are they doing to us? I don't live in that frequency. Create your own reality going forward, and don't let things affect you. And there's a lot to that. Biofeedback, I think, the scientific term. There's a lot to say about that. You can call it whatever you want, but you've got power. You definitely have power. But Litecoin with the ETF, electronically traded fund, I think is what it is. It stands for. And people say, well, why would you not want to self-custody? Why would you not want to take the Litecoin into your possession? Why are you buying it in an ETF? And why is that a big deal? Definitely agree. I would definitely take the coins into your possession. Learn how to write down when you open a wallet. I got to get into this. I got to get into more of the classes and teaching a little bit more, because there are questions. There are a lot of new people coming into this space, and I look at it with old eyes, and I made videos and done all kinds of stuff in the past, but it's always good to keep it fresh. I'll make a few videos about that, how to do things. But what you need to do is, when you open a wallet up, you write down your seed words, your seed phrase, your passphrase. It's called different things, usually 12 words, could be 24, 18. You write those down. They're all in order. They're pulled from a group of 2048. It's a protocol, I think BIP 39 maybe, Bitcoin Improvement Proposal. And it's you've got a word bank of 2048 words, and those seed words come out of that. They're unique. The first four letters of each of those words is unique. So that's all you need is really the first four letters. You don't need the whole word. And so they're randomly chosen, like by these apps. And I've got a little from EliPal, makes a little cube to where it's completely offline. It's a random word generator pulled from that bank, so you can generate a seed phrase offline and not have the wallet do it if you're worried that, oh my gosh, there's a back door or something in generating this. But you can generate those offline, write them down, and then you can open up a wallet on maybe an old phone. See, I'm getting into all this stuff, but an old phone or something that no longer has a SIM card in it. Not that they do anymore. They have virtual SIMs. Take that out, wipe it, bring it back up in very basic settings, and then have one app on there that is your wallet. You can create that seed phrase and then import that seed phrase into that wallet offline, and it'll generate QR codes, and you can, send crypto to it. You don't have to be online to send the cryptocurrency to it. It's just when it syncs up online, it'll show you the balances. It just won't update the balances, but kind of a cold storage method that you could use. Yeah, but anyway, those seed phrases, learn how to do that, protect those, because that's the key to the kingdom. That's the key to the safety deposit box, so to speak. And if you've got it, you're good. If somebody else has it, well, you're not so good. They can walk in and take all your stuff. Yeah. So protect those, and learn how to do that, and start using cryptocurrency. Back in 2021, when the lovely Litecoin Lisa and I, we did our happy hour and then classes the next day, that was a big part of it. It's sending cryptocurrency so that people, opening wallets up, writing down seed phrases, and stressing the need to keep that not digital, hold that in your own possession. And then I would send a little bit of Litecoin, a little bit of Digibyte. And I use that because I'm not going to send Ethereum because, the transaction fees are so much. Bitcoin, the same way, it can get so much. See, with Litecoin, it's not a big deal. The transaction fees are under a penny. You send as much as you want, whether it be $1 or $1 million. Digibyte, same way, fractions of pennies. So it's a good network to use for transactions. It doesn't cost you anything. And so I would use those two blockchains and people could see, look, here I am, on a Saturday giving a class, the banks are closed, I'm sending you value from my wallet. And it's a decentralized blockchain that does not require a bank or any intermediary, a government, to get involved to send that value back and forth. And that is what I love about the blockchain, the empowerment of it. And I think a lot of that is lost nowadays in chasing the dollar. Oh, number go up. Oh, how much can I make on this? To me, I just want to be empowered. I just want to be able to use my energy any way I can, when I want to do it. I really don't care about the price. I really don't. It's the value of having something. It's like, what's the price of, I went and got some beef yesterday from a local farmer. What's the price of that when everybody loses their SNAP benefits? And, we have Argentinian beef, flooding into the market, and American farmers can no longer sustain themselves. What's the price of that quality beef that's grown and raised locally? What's the price? And so I know what value I have, and I know what nourishment it provides. And so I want to have that. I want things of value. I want tangible things. I want things that I have in my possession that I can get my hands on. And to me, that's very important. That's why physical and silver is important. Gold, we're talking about gold and ratios of gold. How much gold would it take to buy certain things? And I think I've come up with maybe I'll talk about it on happy hour. It might be a better venue. Gold to something ratio. It takes two probably to do that. Yeah, double your pleasure, double your fun. Anyway, we'll talk about that maybe on Friday on the lovely Litecoin Lisa. With her on happy hour. Her link's below. By the way, go follow her. She puts out a lot of great content on her YouTube channel. It's in the description. Subscribe to her. Hit that notification bell. We go live on Fridays at 5:30-ish Central Time, and then we've got daylight savings time, coming up this week. So those of you people in like Hawaii, Arizona, there's other states that don't change, so we'll be going backwards and getting an hour closer to LEU. So it'll be a little bit different, but as of Friday, it'll still be 5:30-ish Central Time. And that'll change next week for other people as far as what time it is. all over the place. All right. Yeah. Learn how to custody your cryptocurrency, learn how to get it in your possession, learn what it's all about. Read the Satoshi white paper. You can go to my website, clintwestwood.net, and I've got a link to it, the PDF of the Satoshi white paper, the original premise of peer-to-peer electronic currency, that people can exchange your energy from one person to another with nothing in between. And that's important, that exchange of energy. Brings me back full circle to what we were talking about, that exchange of energy, that technology. It's just a bunch of waves and, ones and zeros and electrons, making things work. But harness that energy in the best way possible. And I try to do that and, use it to build relationships and bridge those gaps in energy of people that are disparate in disparate locations. And that's an important thing to come together, and especially now, to find like frequencies and resonate with each other and, be that lighthouse. There's a lot of wandering boats out there and they don't know where to go. And somehow, some way, you're led to where you need to go. Forces that be will guide you, and there will be signs, and you just, follow those signs. And there are no coincidences for what happens in your life. And then you'll see the synchronicities and the signs, and it'll just validate it. It really will. So roll with it, find that light and go to it. And you're going to find a lot of like-minded people. You're going to find a lot of people that you can communicate with, resonate with, and you'll know internally because you'll feel right. You'll feel at home. One of Marky actually said at one point, she says, I don't know, I just love you guys. I don't know why, what it is. And she says, it feels like home. And that kind of hits me. Because it does, it feels like home when you're around the right people, and family is what you choose, a lot of times. And once we understand that, it's, choose your family, choose those people who treat you like family and want to, appreciate you and love you. And it's an important thing going forward. And, just do you. Be yourself and trust your intuition and trust yourself is the most important thing. Trust yourself. Okay. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. Hump it out, baby. Get through the day, and it's a great day. It's a beautiful day. Make it a beautiful day, because you have the power to do that, and you do that with, how you react to things. You can react badly and make it a bad day for yourself, but make it a good day for yourself, because you have the ability and the power to do that. All right. I love you all. I truly do. And as I always say, some more than others. All right. No, I do. I love you all. Have a wonderful day.